G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for episode number 21 of our Lightning Caster Paladin playthrough, where this episode we'll be heading up the coast, or I guess more inland, up towards the Tomb of the Archon and Fort Icon, and depending on how much time we end up using, maybe up towards the Necropolis as well. However, before we get started, I went around to all of the faction merchants and I bought Rotten Heart, Spine Carapace, Arcane Spark, basically everything that was a component. I just went and bought it all. We are sitting on quite a hoard of iron bits, several wheelbarrows full at least, and so I just bought them all. So I'm going to go ahead and eat all of those. So this is from Black Legion, it's from Homestead, it's from, is it Kaiman's I think I'm with on this guy? Nope, it's from the Death's Vigil, who I don't have honored with yet. Or I do have honored, I don't have the writ for them, although, to be fair, I don't know if I need it, but like I said, we're sitting on a pile of money at the moment, so there's kind of no reason not to. And also Devil's Crossing and the Rovers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factions worth. It's just the expansion factions that I don't have every component blueprint for now. I also said that between episode I was going to make a prismatic diamond. And I haven't actually done that yet because I wanted to show you all that I went and picked up all the blueprints. I did, however, craft all the precursors, and I did make sure I had enough chthonic seals of binding. So a prismatic diamond, you will have arcane lens just sitting around. You either will have a wrathstone, or you will be easily able to make it. This one is a default recipe. It's just a bunch of aether crystals and some cracked lodestones, and as you can see, I have piles of these. You'll be able to make this one no problem. The hard ones, I guess, we'll call them hard. So Arcane Spark is the expensive part of this recipe, because it needs 12 seals of binding. Now these ones here, you'll probably just have piles of these anyway. 22 ectoplasm is not huge, but I have used a few of them to make Vengeful Wraiths and stuff like that. So anyway, 1 Arcane Spark, and 1, was it Radiant Gem? Yeah, Radiant Gem. The Radiant Gem is, these are all crafted, but these are all base recipes, so this is the fire resist component, this is the cold resist component, this is the lightning resist component, and making Radiant Gems is kind of the only reason I ever want to make these myself. I hate using them, it feels like a waste of a component slot. Sometimes you have to. Okay, Prismatic Diamond, boom. Now we will be losing 12% Aether, 12% Elemental, which is fine. We'll be alright with that. So let's go ahead and chuck that on the helmet. And I did some more farming in between episodes, and unfortunately I only got the 4 shields, and none of these have physical resistance on them at all, so I will be keeping my level 40 shield. Let's go ahead and keep this item. And same deal with the helmets. The one I've got, the Impervious of the Eagle, the Impervious prefix is, I mean, I'm not going to call it mandatory, but taking it off, actually, okay, yeah, I could take that off and have no problems at all. Alright, let's have another look at this then. So Overseers and of Readiness is a pile of offensive and defensive stuff. Overseers, I think, is also attack damage converted to health. We don't actually have any weapon damage on Rune of Callisto. You can see here all of the effects on it. And if you look at this one, it adds projectiles, it adds resistance shred, it adds skill levels, it doesn't add weapon damage. Same for Martin's Crest, it adds a projectile, it converts some of the damage, but there's no weapon damage added. And the Skybreaker Circlet, again, conversion, flat damage, no percent weapon damage. So that percent attack damage converted to health does absolutely nothing for us unless we maybe hit someone with Vire's Might as we're running past. But that is a lot of A lot of extra armor absorption, which I'm thinking is quite nice. So our armor rating, ignore that 0, it's because we're not wearing a helmet. Hang on, let's just chuck that back on. So our armor rating is kind of pants, to be honest. If I were to swap in this one though, we have a look at our armor rating, it's up to 100%. So I can't take off that scaled hide, but hang on a sec, what have we got? 88%, yeah, so I would need another 12%, which actually means I need about 16% to cap it to 100, so this is actually probably pretty good. I'm looking at the stun and freeze as well. The freeze is part of the base MI. I think I'm going to use this one. The resistances on here are nice, but even without them, none of our resistances are now uncapped, so let's just use that one. This one has that very, very nice of King's proc, does give you 100% all damage, which for us, where are we at? Lightning, we're at 1000, so that's actually, what's that, about 1% actual increase of damage. 10% total speed is nice. Run speed is already capped. We don't attack, so we don't care about attack speed. And all of our spells have cooldowns, so cast speed is minor. So this would be okay, but not great, so I'm not going to use that one. Let's just go sell all of those. Now, the big hubbub about the Prismatic Diamond, this is something I use in pretty much all of my hardcore characters because of the 130 damage absorption when you get low. 10% total damage modified is not the same as 10% increased lightning damage. This is take all of your damage and then multiply it by 1.1. This is an actual 10% increase in damage. And the 10% total speed is, I mean, we just talked about it, is basically nothing for this build. But the 130 damage absorption, that's just every single hit you take minus 130 off of the after mitigated amount. So if you mitigate a 1000, you get hit by 1000 points of physical damage on, let's say, our arms. Nothing goes through because we're at 100% armor absorption. So we take 828 off of that hit because of our armor, and we're left with, doing maths while recording again, 172 damage. And then this is active because we're low for some reason. Well, now it's 42 damage. So this is really, really good in hardcore. I pretty much recommend every character who's above level 60, I think you can get the blueprint, should have a prismatic diamond on their helmet. Right. That is going to be all of the housekeeping for the moment. There's one more thing I want to do, and that is I want to keep the item here. And I want to see if an ancient armor plate will also get us to the cap. I don't think it will, but I think it will probably be better anyway. Ancient armor. Let's go ahead and use the search. This should be about 96, 93. Okay, maths is off again. But this is fine. Like I said, the armor on this character is actually quite low, and when you have low armor, the armor absorption percent becomes much less relevant. If you happen to have, you know, you're playing a warlord or something, and you have 4000 armor in every single slot, then yeah, you want the 100% armor absorption, because if you've only got 70% and you get hit for 100 damage, 30 of it goes through and completely ignores your armor. Whereas if you have 100%, you get 100 of it come in to hit you, and your armor of 4000 just goes lol no and cancels it out completely. So the more armor you have, the more important armor absorption percentage is, and the less armor you have, the less it matters. So that's that done. We have done Pine Barrens previously, and let's go ahead and go for a run through the Asterkarn Valley. Now this section is generally fairly dull, and I often skip it and cut it out of the videos. I'm going to leave it in this time. No particular reason, just kind of why not, really. This is a really good section to have a Blitz and or Shadow Strike clone as your movement skill, because you can cover very large amounts of ground with those, whereas something like the Vire's Might clone that I have you definitely don't cover as much ground. I'm going to head up here and do this totem, just as kind of something to do. This is one of the very few things that actually happens in between, and so let's actually do it. We are taking damage here, so I definitely need to upgrade my armor. I'm actually thinking the Purifier is a little less worrying at the moment than this Paladin is, and that's entirely my fault because I haven't upgraded my armor properly. Okay, what did we get? So we got Starfire, Serpentine Wraps, Alvaric's Rebuke, Kalidor's Mantle, and the Glyph of the Stormclap, which less said about that name the better. Okay, Starfire, no. Serpentine Wraps, no. Kalidor's Mantle, probably no. Yeah, that's a no. And this two-hander is obviously a no. No MIs except this Dermateran Slicer, so all of this is a no as well. And one other thing to note about the Asterkarn Road section is if you look on the map, there's an untouched meal here. This one here. And next to the untouched meals is The Trip South, Part 1. And then later, you will find The Trip South, Part 2 and Part 3. I strongly recommend reading them. This guy, Childred, is always here every single time. He's always got 3 crystals, and they always drop 8th crystals, and he always drops loot and XP. So I pretty much kill him every time I come through here. Generally speaking, I skip the totem, but this time I'm not going to. Here we go, another untouched meal and another Trip South note. And let's just go ahead and stand in our seal so we don't die. So yeah, another untouched meal, another note, and if you just come over here, am I in the right spot in my head? Does my head match up with the map is the question. Yes it does, okay. So just here, you'll note there's a couple of cannibals. A couple of the Ugdenborg cannibal type models, like this guy right here. Sylvie, and the other one's called Nuana, I think. Go ahead and read The Trip South, and just remember those names. Sylvie and Nuana, I think it was. Actually, if you don't want to come here and find these on your own, I will read this, and I will provide you enough time to pause the video and just read The Trip South Part 1. And then Part 2. And then Part 3. Because it's something. It's one of the better lore note series, and you can actually find the people in the game who it is about. So nice little self-contained story. The other ones that are really good to do are the Port Valbury ones. Definitely go through there with Grimtal's map active and find all the lore notes and have a read. And also the Candle District in the city of Malmouth had some good ones as well. But just generally it's worth reading them regardless. I think the way that the lore is handled in this game is quite good. Okay, we are now actually at the point where we could do the hidden path, so that's something to think about as well. And we will get the XP, sorry, not the XP, the skill point and attribute points from the elite quest as well. And I can't remember if I did the normal one, because there was a shrine involved, so I may have done the normal one for the shrine. But if you haven't done the normal one for the shrine, then you get a shrine from normal as well, or you get attribute and skill point from normal too. So I'm going to get rid of these guys, then I'm going to do this Forsaken Savage Totem. There we go, and pop. Boom goes the dynamite. Everybody explodes except for all the ones who didn't. And there we go. Okay, this Chillmane can go away. So we got a purple set of shoulders. Deathmarked is definitely not something we're interested in. Eye of Dominion, or Dominion, is a pet thing. And Citadel is, I think, an Oathkeeper shield thing. Just generic shields. Lovely. Alright, so no MIs. Probably no good, but maybe we can have a look later. Okay. I'm not going to do the Rover's quest. I already have all of the devotion shrines I need, and heading into a chthonic area when I'm this worried about damage is not a good idea. I definitely need to get some better gear. If nothing else, we will have some better gear at level 90, but surviving to get there is a little less certain, shall we say. The damage on this character is really nice, especially compared to the Purifier, but I think that I've let the armor go for too long and it's definitely feeling a lot squishier. Alright, so we've made it to Fort Archon. And I'm going to do my usual trick, which is when I run through here, I am going to just drop a portal. That's the L key by default for anyone who's wondering, or you can just click on this one down here, and that will also summon a new rift. And then we're going to head over to Fort Archon, do the fight there for the rift gate, and then rift back to here. And then we'll head through Fort Archon. The Tomb of the Archon. And there'll be a wonderful fight at the end, where we want as much fire resistance as we can get our hands on. Although, to be fair, fire resistance should be capped already anyway. Let's just blow this guy up. There he goes. Okay, so I'm going to turn the loot off for this. And I'm going to see if I can't spread a few of these around. Actually, it probably doesn't matter for these because they spawn in waves. We can definitely just keep casting them on cooldown though, I think. Okay, and then Aether Blaze should go down now. Nope, he's not quite standing in the... There we go. Alright. Rift cleared. I want my loot, so let's go ahead and spin the camera so I can get it. I still can't get it. Oh. Let's try that again. Okay. And we'll turn the loot back on. Plagueborn Revolver. Sounds like fun. I have one of these. It's a level 84, I think, one. This one here, which looks really good, would uncap our Chaos and Aether resistances while Word of Renewal is not active though, so we'll see. I probably will use that. I'm definitely not reliable when it comes to keeping Word of Renewal active, but it'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? Death? I'm going to be kicking myself when I watch the death replay, and it's because I didn't have that active, and I took 50% more damage than I should have. Okay, so the Tomb of Archon Bartholem, there is an ancient spirit totem in here, which you can maybe see on the map if you go back a few seconds. I am going to do that. It's definitely one of the ones that you want to consider skipping if you're playing a hardcore character and you're not confident. It definitely has the potential to kill you. So it's definitely one you want to consider skipping. Having said that though, we have the ability to just stack silly amounts of runes that will detonate when they spawn, so most of the things that spawn here should be pretty much dead when they spawn. He just came back to life. Who did that? I didn't know they could be revived. Also, what is going on with his arms? Alright, let's put some runes down. Pick this up, turn the loot off. This one, yep, there it goes. I was about to say is about to explode. And here we go. So, we'll get some resistance shredding on the go as well. There we go, and we are taking damage through... I did use Ascension. We're standing in our Inquisitor's Seal, and it's not maxed out anymore. I believe at one point we had 22 out of 12 on that. Definitely not anymore though. Okay, another piece of the Perdition set. So I'll be hanging on to that one. I'm collecting the entire set for reasons. Flamebreaker obviously no good. And I didn't see any MIs, so didn't get any as far as I'm aware. Things like this though are something that you definitely could have a look at. So the Gauntlets of Ignifar, we don't do piercing damage, we don't do fire damage. So these gloves are basically 24% chaos resistance and +4 to intensify, which I'm guessing is going to be one of these. Yep, there it is. So these gloves are just 600 armor and 24% chaos res. So granted, I don't have a pair of gloves to replace them with that has chaos resist on it. However, something like these, even being of Caged Souls, which is the pet stuff there, Impervious Preserver gloves, these are pretty good. What I really want is a pair of gloves that has chaos res on it, but even something like this would actually be better than the gloves I'm wearing. And I do want Aether res as well. I don't need that component. The 15% bleeding is a nice to have. The vitality is not relevant, and the +10 offensive ability is also kind of not relevant, so I'm going to chuck that one on. Now, yes, I did just replace a purple with a green, but this is probably one of the biggest noob traps in the game. An item is not good just because it's purple. It has to actually be a good item as well. And these Gauntlets of Ignifar are actually really bad for this build. They basically provide 24% chaos resistance and that flame patch proc and nothing else. So I'm pretty happy to see those go, actually. And I probably should have done it a long time ago. I don't have another pair of gloves to kind of look at. We could put this back on, but I'm thinking Consecrated Wrappings. Now, the Consecrated Wrappings I'm using for the 8% Chaos Resist, because as you can see, we are now uncapped. Although having said that, if we just push the magic healing button, we do get a lot more back. I could also use these gloves. That Battle Fury is a decent healing proc, but it doesn't have the right resistances, so I'll probably just leave it how it is. And I did just remove a pair of gloves with an augment on them as well. So that's something that's also kind of good. I was using the Fire and Lightning augments from, I think that was from Homestead. Does it tell me? Where are my old gloves? Here they are. Yeah, Homestead. So Fire and Lightning from Homestead if you need it. I've picked up some elemental resistances on those gloves, so I don't need that augment anymore. And I'm also not going to need the similar augments that I have on other pieces of armor. As you start getting too revered with the various factions, it's definitely worth going and checking them for any kind of augments. Specifically the level 70 required ones, which are going to be armor augments. We've had access to some jewelry and weapon augments for a while now, but realistically it's the armor augments, the ones that you definitely want. Don't need to go down to fight the ghouls this time. And we've got Archon Bartholem here. Did he just activate? I think he may have. Also, it's usually good to have your Guardians of Empyreans actually active when you're playing the character. Oh jeez. Okay. Well, that's definitely going to help some. Alright, so we've got our lightning up. Let's go ahead and see if we can't blow him up before he kills us. He is actually doing a decent amount of damage. Alright. And that'd be why. So, well, there's another piece of the Perdition set. So we've got 2 pieces already of the Empowered, plus whatever's in the stash. I think I have a couple pieces there as well. Okay, so one thing about humanoid enemies is they will actually use the items that they have. Which means he was hitting us with this. So attack speed, check. A ton of extra fire damage, check. A ton of lightning damage, yep. Yeah, he hits pretty hard when his weapon rolls with good affixes. Similar to something like Shazul in the Bastion of Chaos. If he has his purple weapon, he will be using it, and he will be hitting you with it, and it's gonna hurt. Okay, speaking of hurting, let's go spend some time messing with our inventory. And I'll also have to go and turn that quest in because I'm really bad at remembering what I did the episode before. And I may have ran that area extra times I didn't need to in the past. Alright, let's get rid of this. What armor pieces am I looking to replace the most now? It's still gloves, it's still boots, and shoulders. So these 3 are my lowest armor values. And so I'm going to be looking to replace them. These are actually pretty good. So, health, defensive ability, 2 resistances, and stun resistance. I mean, we don't need the stun resistance at the moment, but these gloves are pretty good. The armor increase is not enough for me to remove the other ones, though. Shoulders, ascended epaulets, less armor, not interested. What were those boots? Just here. Glacial Old Fox, never mind. Shoulders? Okay, that is a lot of extra armor. The downside, of course, is the loss of Aether and Chaos resistance. 26-ish% on both. We are 31 over. I can do that. I am really going to get slammed by Chaos if I let the Word of Renewal fall off, though. Aether Res is 46% over, so maybe I swap these Aether Souls for Black Tallows. That's really going to hurt, though, because of the Aether Souls being so expensive in terms of... hang on, let me check these rings. In terms of Aether Crystals to craft, what do we got here? Chilled of the Arcane Balance, so no. Void Touch of Shadows, no. Mighty of Void Fire, no. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead and buy that off me too. Boots, no. Boots. This one has really good armor. And it has lightning, which is good. The only thing it's lacking is Chaos Res, which would be ideal. We got Of the Void, which is Chaos damage, unfortunately. But... no, the Golemborn Greaves have 9% increased armor across the entire character, so we're gonna probably take a little while to replace that. Okay, let's go ahead and have a look in our stash at our nice little collection of the Perdition items. Are any of these empowered yet? I thought I had one empowered. That's fine. One thing you can do on any hardcore leveling character is 2 pieces of the Perdition set. Each piece all of them, every single piece of the Perdition set comes with 5% increased armor, which applies to every single slot on your character. And then the 2-piece bonus is 10% increased armor. So with, I mean, I can't use the helmet because, obviously, but if this was a chest piece, I would be trying to replace my gloves and chest with these two. So if I get another empowered chest guard of Perdition, or maybe if I get the shoulders, I will be looking to replace them with these, because the set itself, the full set is not particularly amazing for this character, but while you're leveling, having 20% more armor across your entire character is actually really good. And if I had that, I would probably immediately rip that ancient armor plate out and chuck another scaled hide back in. However, I don't have it, so we're not going to do that yet. The other thing I could do is I could go and farm a bunch of totems, and I would eventually get it to drop. And actually, I'm going to do that right now. So I do need to get a new shield, and one of the ways to get said shield is to farm totems of the void, so void touch totems. Let's go do that. Now, the shield that this build uses does have a fire bias, so the chances of us getting something with a lightning proc or damage on it is pretty low. However, what I actually want, so the reason I'm going to do these now is two reasons. One, to get a new shield, but also because it could drop empowered Perdition pieces, and I would love to get the chest or the shoulders. And it seems like they are a pretty common drop. The other reason is if we get the right spawns, we could get a new shield as well. So watch the drops be shields and helmets for the Perdition set. Although I could go back to normal and flip a couple, so I could actually do that now. Might be worth doing. Right, so no totem here. And I'm just going to run past all this. There's one, and the other one is either going to be behind the waterfall here, or potentially up in Darkvale Gate. And I am going to go find it. And then we'll see how many Eldritch Essences I have. I may go back to normal and flip a set item. Let's just turn this on. Turn the loot off for the moment. Didn't get the right Chthonians to spawn, which is not great. Band of Black Ice, Mask of the Harbinger, Black Steel Gauntlets. Alright, I am going to go and have a look behind the waterfall. Actually, I did get a couple of level ups to play with as well, and we are over on Rune of Callistor by 3 points because of that ring as well. What were we doing? I think we were doing Presence of Virtue for offensive ability, and then into Haven for health. We are using a shield, so that's probably worth doing, I think. Why did I stop at 11 here? I don't know. I'm going to go to 12 on this. And I think I want the health and shield block chance and such. Although having said that, our current shield is almost 40 levels out of date. So definitely need to get my hands on a new shield. Let's just run behind the waterfall here. For anyone who's wondering where the Shrine of the Forgotten Gods is, it's just here. And there's our other totem, so actually we can go ahead and leave. There's no need to continue down there. I know the shrine is not there. I'm going to go do this shrine, then I'll check back in normal. I'm just going to flip a piece of the Perdition set and turn that helmet into either shoulders or a chest. And then try and fix our resistances to be able to actually use it. But that increase in armor will be very, very welcome. Alright, we've successfully found Bolvar as well. And I don't particularly want to fight him and a totem at the same time, so let's go ahead and take him out. We can pretty much face tank him, which is nice. Not entirely 100%, but pretty close to it. He's dropped guns, which is quite good. If you're doing a chaos build, guns is actually decent for chaos. I don't know why they're so rubbish for everything else. It's probably elemental resistances on the monsters are much higher than chaos in general. Alright, that'll do. Here we go, we've got Obsidius. He should drop a shield when we kill him. So, fingers crossed. He didn't drop it when we killed him, which is kind of annoying. I don't see any... I mean, there's a tower shield, but I don't see any MI shields, which is kind of shitty. Death's Reach. It's a two-handed shaman weapon, actually. I guess you would use that as a ritualist. So, Blood Boil sounds like it's the mutator off of Siphon Souls, but I could be completely just making that up. Alright, didn't get the totem drops that I wanted, so let's just go back to normal and see if I can't flip one of those. I think I've done this quest on normal. If I haven't, maybe I'll do it next episode in... Yeah, I've definitely got it in normal. Maybe I'll do it next episode in Ultimate, but I've already got it, so that's fine. How many... what are we looking at here? How many of the Eldritch Essences do I have? I have 0. That's not fair. Okay, well I guess I'm not flipping them then. Which I guess means we're just going to continue on. Alright, back to Ultimate then. Actually, those boots... Never mind. So, Black Ice and the Aetherlord Signet. Pretty good rings if you're playing a build that uses them. Otherwise, not really. Okay. Well, that's a little disappointing. I'm not going to make you watch me farm Eldritch Essences. Although you definitely can. If you need them, you can farm in Forgotten Gods areas and they'll drop from various bosses. The one I usually farm them on is if you go to the, I think it's the Corbin City one, and then into the mountain, and you can fight the messenger in there, and he will drop them usually. Korvac will also drop them fairly regularly. But other than that, I generally just farm the mountain. Okay, farm the messenger, sorry. Right, let's chuck this away. Go ahead and turn in the urn. And I'm probably not going to do that, but I might. No, that's a horrible idea. Don't ever do that quest on hardcore. It's a really good way to end up dead. Even if you know exactly what you're doing, it's quite easy to die in there. What am I in Devil's Crossing for? I need to go to Sora's Bastion. Alright, so we'll go turn this in. I think they also want... No, we've already done those quests, never mind. Alright, heading on in. We will give them the urn. I think we do the defense event next. I'm pretty sure that's directly after this one. Can we perform the ritual now? Yes, we can. Okay, beautiful. Let's see if the door opens today. Nope. I know it looks like it's open. Now it looks like it's shut. This door doesn't know what it's doing. Alright, we'll talk to Soulkeeper Karandus here and begin the ritual. Okay, now I have a pretty much permanent hatred of anything priest or warlock shaped as a skeleton. So I'm going to try and take them out first. These two right here, priests. we've got to go. Also, that on the ground, that's from one of the warlocks. Okay, we're getting some of the larger undead now, which I guess is nice. Watching my health bar slowly chip down. These warlocks are absolutely painful. Alright, what did that just drop? Double rare. Aether Fire of Ferocity. Okay, where's the priests? There's always a priest somewhere. I think they might actually all be dead. So here's Noveria Stormfire, who we can kill fairly easily. Okay, that's not good. Okay, should be fine. It's definitely not fine. Let's just go do a few laps. Alright, and we'll see if we can't kill her before she does any significant amounts of damage to us. Alright, is that everyone? I think that's everyone. Alright, we'll pick up the loot. What did we get? Just that one blue and the double rare, I think. So yeah, you can see the damage from these things is starting to pick up. The ultimate scaling seems to really kick in around level 70. And even with max resistances, the damage is starting to get through Ascension and Inquisitor Seal. Which is definitely not good, because as I said, our armor rating is kind of bad. Health is fine though. Okay, and we did get the Chonagri, which is a one-handed axe. Right. Next quest from them. I can't remember what it is. I'll search for Ouroboros. No, I don't think we're going to run all the way out there. That's fine. Right. Vendor that stuff we just got, and then we'll be on our way. How are we doing for time? 42 minutes. I think we will go and do the hidden path. That's a lot of armor. 5 levels, we'll probably find something better. Okay. Yeah, we'll go to the hidden path. It'll get us a bunch of skill points. And what do we need for that? We need some scrap to repair a bridge. So we gotta go to Devil's Crossing for the first step anyway. Alright, need 10 scrap, and I think it's 2 dynamite. So 10 scrap to repair the bridge, and 2 dynamite to blow open the front door of the first area. So we should be able to get through the hidden path pretty quickly. For anyone looking for the starting area, you basically just want to come to the house here. This is the one that has Hevel's Greatsword in it. So, charged Hevel's Greatsword. I didn't need that, it was just kind of to point out where it is that you go through here. 2 dynamite here. Boom goes the dynamite. And now we have a bunch of poison damage in this section. You can choose to fight all this if you want, or you can just run past it. Once you get to the river crossing, it's definitely worth stopping and killing everything. We are about to have the Guardian of Dreeg. Let's see if we can't get someone to run over that. Beautiful. Okay, so here's the Guardian of Dreeg and his little floating eyeballs. He should go down relatively quickly. The eyeballs themselves I don't think will be able to do much through the seal, so that's good. And they always drop their legs now, which is also quite good. Don't forget to pop this chest the first time through. I think subsequent trips through here that will not be quite so good. And then we head to the Broken Hills. Now, one thing to note about Dreeg's legs, they are poison or other acid retaliation pants, but I mean, these ones are formidable, which is actually really good. But they also come with stun resistance on them, and just generally good stats. So if you can get a good pair of these, even if you're not playing a retaliation build, these can be quite good. This pair, however, this is the one that most builds want. If you're doing anything with weapon damage, these pants are probably the ones you're going to want. The good old Soleil Sect leg guards or leggings or whatever it's actually called give you, I think it's between 4 and 7% attack damage converted to health. This pack of 4 is definitely something I need to kill. But the Soleil Sect legs are very common in endgame builds. Just because of the lifesteal, basically. They're easy to get. They're decently easy to farm. The run to get there is kind of annoying, but the fight itself is not very difficult. And so they're used a lot in endgame builds because if you just do all purple, you're going to struggle with resistances. So a lot of people drop the purple legs and instead use Dreeksec pants, or Soleil Sec pants rather. Just do be careful if you find a build that's using Soleil Sec pants and maybe one other green item, because if it's one of those builds, they're probably doing that and you need the exact affixes to cap your resistances or something like that. So just check for that sort of thing when you're looking at a build. Alright, let's get out of that. This is something that's going to start being a real problem going forwards, is these little pools on the floor are starting to be enough damage that, oh, this would have been great for the Death Knight. They're enough damage that they get through the seals now, which is not good. Alright, here we go. Here's our door. The door for the Soleil and Bismail fights are both the same, and they will not open if you don't have the Waystone, so this thing, Runestone, from the previous one. Or if you've completed the quest, obviously. Alright, so here is the Guardian of Soleil, and one thing I will say about this guy, when you fight him, if you are playing a build that relies on lifesteal, immediately run as soon as you kill him, because you can see the little purple fire there. He stacks these up. There was probably 3 or 4 of them there when I actually killed him, and getting off of this is the only way to live. This is how I lost my first decent hardcore character. So please learn from my death rather than having to wait until you die yourself, and don't stay there. I think we've actually had all 3 of the Steel Heart Girdles at this point. So this is the mythical version, which is not bad, but I'm not going to wear it just because +1 to all Inquisitor skills is better in my opinion. And here is the Soleil Sect Leg Guards. So aggressive is going to be the offensive ability you see there, and Flesh Hulk is going to be probably some of that crowd control resistance and physical and aether damage. The attack damage converted to health, as I said, is always on these pants, and I think you get a couple of resistances as well. But these pants are pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Can I actually wear these, is the question. No, I can't. Alright, so these pants are going to be very hard to replace because of that bleeding resistance. The piercing I don't really care about, but the bleeding, 56% bleeding resistance is kind of nuts on one item, and we're only just at the cap, so I could maybe, what do we got here, 15% from that, another 18s, it's 33, plus 26, we're looking at 59, so I could actually do it. I would have to replace the Ancient Armor Plate with another Silk Swatch though, and I would also need to replace this Consecrated Wrappings with an Unholy Inscription, but I could do it. That's a pretty big downgrade in armor though. Okay, and the last one we need to go to is over here at the Asterkarn Road Rift, I think. Yeah. Basically, you're looking for this big wall. Stairs still haven't worked out how they work. Similar to magnets. Very confusing things. Okay. And we are heading down to a very well hidden cave, which you can almost see on the screen. We're about to walk over the top of it. This guy is getting healed from something, not sure what. You can see it just down here. And you get there from walking under here. We're going to see a magical levitating chest as well, which is always fun. And it's always there, because for some reason the chest in question always spawns in the same place. Here's our hidden path door. Like I said, this one will only spawn, or will only open, if you have the Runestone of Soleil, or if you've completed the full quest. So we'll come in here, and in we go. Now, I'm not going to fight Rashalga, so my apologies to those of you who want to see it. If you've never been in here before, there's another door right here, and there's a loose stone right here. And you can go down there. I'll show you, but I'm not fighting it. You can come in here. You're not on the map anymore. And you can fight Rashalga the Mad Queen. And when you do, make sure you record it, because you're probably going to die. Definitely on Ultimate, if you don't know how she works with her little aura that shotguns people. She does a lot of damage. Alright, here's the Guardian of Bismael. Now the pants from this particular Guardian are they're pet pants, but again, the MI itself, yes, it has pet pants, but if you get good, I mean those are really good pet pants, but if you get different affixes, these can be quite good for any build. The reduced entrapment duration, I believe, is standard, as is at least one of those resistances and all of the life. So these can be decent even if you're not doing pets. Taskmaster's Bismael Sect's leg guards is really nice though, because Taskmaster's gives the Aether and Chaos resistance to your pets, and Bismael Sect leg guards also give pet stuff, so really good pet pants there. I think this game wants me to play pets. Alright, and the last stop, we'll go to the Temple of the Three, so we head to the Birch Village. And we just go for a bit of a run through the swamp. So I did just pick up, I think it was only 2, but it may have been 3 attribute points. This is where we needed our dynamite and our 10 scrap. So 1 dynamite to blow the bridge up. We'll get the rubbish out of the bridge. And then the 10 scrap to repair it. I probably should have taken the next quest from the Death's Vigil, because Rubberrock, or the quest location, is just over here. It's a decent run though, so it's not a big deal. Alright, nice little hidden door right here. And for anyone who's trying to find it, if you notice the edge of the map here, kind of comes down. I'll actually go along here and kind of show it a little better. Just get some more definition on the edge. So there's a bridge, and it kind of comes down this way, and then it'll go back up there. So this little V shape at the bottom, that's where you want to go. And now we can stop fighting all these chumps. Interesting that they were able to pretty much beat on us, and we took very little damage. Alright, this will only open if you have all of the waystones, and you'll notice they're all gone now. So I will now have access to all of the areas, and I can now go and, well, I could do it before, but I can farm all of the guardians for different pants if I wanted to. Don't get baited by those 2 trees like I always do. It's just past them. And here is the Temple of the Three. Now in here there is poison all over the floor. There is Aether Fire, well, not Aether Fire, but there's Aether damage, there's Fire damage, there's lots of Elemental, there's lots of poison, lots of damage in general. So just watch where you walk, and our objective is to just get to the end. You can fight everything in here if you want. The XP is decent, but I'm just here for the skill points at the end. There is a devotion shrine in here if you're somehow still missing devotion points. I think there's also a totem in here. But the goal is to get to the end and kill the Guardian, because he is made of skill points. Well, actually he's not. He's made of loot and XP, but the conversation behind him is made of skill points. Alright. So you can choose, if you wish, to fight these, and I've just noticed I've been running around without my Guardians again, because I am a bad player. Okay. He will spawn... Well, I'll just show you. Alright. He's going to spawn crystals. You don't want to stand near the crystals. They have an aura that will do bad things to you. Apparently he sunders now as well. I think this is the first time I've fought him. There's his crystals. I'm just going to move away. Sundered again. And again. He doesn't really seem to have much follow-up after his sunder. So that's good, I guess. And he's full health again. So something is healing him. And interestingly enough, I've actually never had to fight him for this long before. So I've never seen him healing. I think it might be his crystals. Let's see if we just stand here. Watch the health bar like a hawk. Alright, there he goes. I'm gonna have to look up what he does because I've never seen him heal before. Having said that, I've never been this under-leveled when fighting him on ultimate before either. Under-leveled and under-geared. But we got through him in the end. I didn't think his crystals healed him, so maybe there was some sort of healing monster there. Okay, anyway, I've come to learn. How do I learn? I wish to learn. There's our 3 skill points. Okay, so I actually didn't do this part on normal. And we don't have the full level yet, but 3 points. After you kill him, go ahead and come down here. There is a hidden spoils here as well, and usually there's some monsters that spawn in here. I mean, you just kill them. Alright, let's head back to Devil's Crossing. One more little thing I want to do before we end the episode, and that is to get my 3 extra points out of Rune of Callistor, which I should have done previously, but I didn't, because again, I'm really bad at this game. Alright, so that's 10 out of 10 on Haven. The reason you want this is the percentage health. The healing effect increase is also quite good, and we are using a shield, but shields are kind of bad defensively, so I mean, yeah, it's nice, but it's not the reason why you take this. You take this for the health and the healing effect increase. Alright, that'll about do us for this episode, so thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.